Hi, my name's Shandra and I'm about to show you some technologies that'll make doing schoolwork easier, so you can work smarter, not harder. The most important skill for student success is to have a strong organizational process. Being able to meet deadlines, set a study schedule, and meet all the obligations for home, maybe a part-time job, and school can be difficult. The easiest thing to use to address that is your cell phone. Your cell phone is very powerful. You can use a calendar, you can set reminders and alerts, and there's apps like the homework app to help you color code assignments and study time and get yourself organized. It also can be used for setting reminders like taking medication, getting to bed on time, turning off electronics, and just basically making a list of tasks that must be accomplished. There's nothing wrong with a physical calendar, and for some people that's going to be their best tool. For a lot of years I carried a little daily planner in my purse, but eventually I was able to switch to using my phone as my primary organizational tool. So I'm going to take a second and talk about the pros and cons of both. Physical versus digital calendar. There's pros and cons to both, but what's important is that you find a method that works for you. I prefer that you use your cell phone, so a digital calendar like the Gmail calendar app, which is tied to your Gmail email address. That way you can view your calendar on your cell phone, or if you sit down to a computer, you can pull up your Gmail and view your calendar there. This helps with version control. Version control is one problem of using multiple calendars, so it's best to find a method that works for you and stick with it. If you're used to using a wall calendar on the wall in your room and then you get a text or an email from a teacher while you're out with friends saying that they've changed a deadline, you have to try to make a mental note to remember to change that on your calendar when you get home. Even if you quickly change it in your phone calendar, then you might find when you get home that your phone calendar doesn't match the wall calendar, and then you got to try to remember which was the version that is correct. And that's why it can just save a lot of headache and a lot of mistakes if you just use your cell phone calendar all the time. Every phone has a built-in note-taking app, or the Microsoft Word app can be downloaded for free on either Android or Apple cell phones. So that's an easy way to quickly take some notes for class, or to make a list, or to make a checklist of tasks that you need to complete. There's a lot of free apps to help you follow a routine. The easiest way to do that is to use your calendar app that's built in on your phone and to put in reminders. But if you need a little more robust features than that, here's a list of free task apps to help you complete tasks, follow a checklist, or follow a scheduled routine. Here's a list of some of the best task apps. There are plenty of free visual timer apps. And these are great for students who need to basically study for a certain amount of time and then take a break, so that you can look at your app and you can visually see how much time you have to complete the task before moving on to the next one. If you're a fast typist, you might prefer to type your notes rather than handwrite them. Even if you're a fast typist, there's still classes where handwriting notes makes more sense, and sometimes there's classes where typing notes makes more sense. One of my favorite note-taking apps is Audio Note 2, and that's a free app that you can download on your phone or your tablet, and it's got a lot of features to let you take notes. Now there is a computer piece of software called Audio Note, take away the number 2, that can be downloaded to your computer, and it costs approximately $20. You don't necessarily have to have both the software and the app. It just depends on how you want to interact with your notes. If you're going to send your notes from your phone to your computer and you need to pull them up on the computer, then you're going to need the $20 computer software. If you're just going to look at your notes on your tablet or your phone, then the free app is sufficient. So I'm going to take a second and I'm going to show you the computer version of the software. The app looks exactly the same on your phone or tablet. This is the Audio Note software for your computer. If you're using the free app on your phone or tablet, it'll look almost the same and it has the same features. You can see that I've already titled the note here, English. If you're taking notes in class, it's a good practice to put the date on the top or maybe the course number. Up here in the upper left, you can see the big red button that says record. So basically you're going to sit down to class and you're going to hit record to record the teacher talking. Now you can see that it's recording. And I'm going to put my cursor at the first line, and now I'm ready to take notes for class.
Today, class, we're going to learn how to write a 5-paragraph essay. You will need an introduction with at least 3 sentences, one of which needs to be your thesis statement. You will also need a conclusion that wraps up your paper at the end. Finally, you will need 3 body topics with at least 1 direct quote and source.
Now I'm going to hit stop. So I've hit the pause button, and you can see here that I was able to keep up with the teacher pretty well, but I have the elements of a 5-paragraph essay. Now, if there's something that you want to go back in here, you're just going to take your mouse and you're going to click that portion of your notes and you're going to hit the play button.
At least 3 sentences, one of which needs to be your thesis statement.
So this stops you from having to listen to the entire class recording over and over again. You can just jump to the parts that you want to listen to. Now you'll see in the upper right here, we have a highlighter button. This allows you to highlight something that's important or might be on the test. We also have a pen up here. This allows you to draw. So I can draw an arrow, or I could circle something, or I could make a star to indicate important information that you want to review later. And then most importantly, here we have a photo mode. We have a camera. And this allows you to insert pictures from the board or charts that the teacher has put up, or even just the notes that the teacher's written on the board right here into your actual document. When you're done, you can save this or you can email it to yourself for access in the cloud. These are screenshots of the Audio Note 2 app, the free app that you can put on your phone or tablet. This looks like a screenshot of a phone screen that's turned upright. It's got the same features whether you're using the app or the software. Here you can hit play or fast forward. You can see where you're at in the audio. Up here is a yellow highlighter marker, so you can highlight important information that might be on the exam, like they've demonstrated here. Or you can click the pen and mark important information, or, as you see over here, they're drawing a diagram when they're taking notes for science class. And then, of course, you can play back the recording, and this is showing that it was in the middle of playback. If you can't take notes in class, there are ways to have your phone type the information for you. Speech-to-text functionality can be accomplished by pulling up the Word app on your phone and clicking the microphone. Turn your microphone at the teacher and it should type everything the teacher says. You can do the same thing with your Notes app, or there's apps that can do it for you. Google's Live Transcribe is free for Android users, or there's other apps that give you a limited amount of minutes that are free before they start charging you, such as Otter Voice and Ava. But all of these apps act the same, where basically they will type what is said and then you can review the text. Some of them will record the actual audio recording as well. Some of them will just take a text document. There are a lot of free tools to help students cite material whenever they're creating their references or bibliography section. Citation Machine is one that's free and easy to use. There's also OWL Purdue or EasyBib. And right now I'm going to show you the Citation Machine. Here we are at citationmachine.net. The first thing you do is choose your citation style. You have APA, MLA, Chicago, or more. I'm going to choose MLA. Now that I've chosen the MLA citation style, you can see that it defaults to web page. This means that I'm going to be citing a website. But if you're citing a book or a magazine or a newspaper, you just click these other tabs across the top. So the first thing I need to do is go get the address of the website that I'm citing. So I've got up here the William Shakespeare biography page, and let's just pretend that I had used a quote from this article in my essay. So I'm going to copy the URL up here at the top. Now I'm going to go back over to Citation Machine, and I'm going to paste the URL right there in that box, and I'm going to hit Search Websites. This seems an unnecessary step because it's just going to say, is this the website you wanted? Yes, because I pasted it in there. So select, yes, that's the website I wanted. Now it tells you, here's all the information that we found for that citation from that source. Now I'm going to click Final Step. Now this takes you to where you would be had you chosen the manual entry fill mode from the beginning. This gives you a chance to make any changes to the information or add more information if you can find it, even though this app could not. But I can't find it, so I'm going to hit Create Citation. Now, as I had mentioned, it's getting really a lot of advertisements, so I'm going to say that yes, I still want this to be free. I don't want to pay $9.95 a month for it, so I agreed to watch an advertisement. Now that I've watched my 30-second advertisement so that this can continue to be a free product, you can see here on the screen that it has given me the citation in MLA format according to the information that we had. And then right here also it has a checkbox for getting the in-text citation. So all a student has to do is copy this information right here and paste it into their Word document. Now I'm going to show you EasyBib.com. This is another citation tool to help you create a reference. This is a little bit different than Citation Machine, but it works really well. Right here, I'm going to click Create Citations to begin getting this reference. The next thing it asks me is, are you referencing a website or a book? Well, I'm referencing a website. Now, I need to paste in the URL from the article that I was using for my paper. So I'm going to paste that in there and hit search. It says, is this the article that you wanted? Yes, that's it. So I'm going to hit cite. Now at this step, it shows you all the information that it could find for it. I'm going to hit continue. This is just like Citation Machine, where it takes you back to the manual fill mode. So if I want to make any changes to this information or add anything that I could find, this is the chance to make edits. I'm going to hit Complete Citation. Just like Citation Machine, to keep this being free, I have to agree to watch an advertisement. So I'm going to click up here. Now that I've watched my online advertisement, you can see that this has created the citation for me. I can see in the upper left corner that this is MLA style. If you need to change it to APA style, you can see a button here at the top that gives you the other citation style choices. But since we are doing MLA anyways, I'm just going to copy this information and paste it into my Word document. Auto-summarizers can be really helpful tools to help you read and review information. It can be great when writing essays to help you reduce the amount of time spent on research, and it can be helpful for reading comprehension. The first one I'm going to show you, autosummarizer.com. This is the simplest auto-summarizer. Basically, it says right here, paste your text article and click Summarize. So you'll paste the text from whatever article you need to summarize into the box, and you'll hit the Summarize button. This gives you an example of what that might look like. In this instance, it gave you 5 sentences, which is a 1-paragraph summary of this entire article. You can see by the scroll bar here on the right that this was quite long. But once you hit Summarize, you have a 1-paragraph summary telling you the main ideas. This can help you when you're trying to decide if this is something you need to read to use for your essay or not. If you read this 1-paragraph summary and determine that it doesn't sound like something you need, then you didn't waste time reading the entire article. eSummarizer.com is another auto-summarizer tool. This one gives you a little more power. Right here where it says how many sentences do you want to summarize this article. So right here in this example we have 10. So you paste the article into the box. You can see by the scroll bar here that this was a really long article. And then you tell it how many sentences you want it to use in its summary. This will help you pick out those big fat sentences that you might want to directly quote for your paper. You can make this number larger or smaller depending on how much you want to summarize the article. Text Compactor is an auto-summarizer that gives you a lot of control. You have a large box where you paste the article, and then you have a slider bar that you can drag anywhere from 0 to 100%, and you'll summarize the article based on the percentage that you see here in this field. You can see in this resulting page that I had set the summarization to 30%. So this text that's here is 30% of the length of the original article, and these are the main ideas. Rewordify.com is a valuable tool for writing essays. If you are citing material from the internet and you need to put it into your own words, you can take information from that article, put it into the Rewordify box, hit the Rewordify button, and it will change some of the words. It will show you in yellow which words it's changed. Rewordify is also helpful when you have a difficult to understand article. You can paste the article into this box, hit Rewordify it, and it'll make it easier to understand. There are tons of free Google Chrome extensions. Think of the Google Chrome extensions as little apps that are installed into your web browser. Obviously, because they're Google Chrome extensions, they don't work in Internet Explorer or Safari or Firefox or any other of the other browsers. You need to be in Google Chrome. One of the first ones that I have here is high contrast. It looks like a moon. This allows me to quickly change the visual settings on the web page without going into my computer settings. Right now, this web page is on the normal mode. When I click the button here, you can see the first option is increased contrast. This is one of my favorites. Watch what happens to the text when I toggle between increased contrast and normal. You can see that when I go to increased contrast, everything gets a little darker and a little bolder. And for me, that can make it easier for me to stay on task and read it. Another option is inverted color. A lot of students like to see things in dark mode, and this is a lot faster to change the settings on your web pages rather than going back into your computer settings. So I can change this from dark mode back to increased contrast or back to normal very quickly without having to leave the page. Read Aloud is another free extension that helps you read material on a web page out loud. You'll see at the top that it installs a little icon that looks like a megaphone, and it can read any web page. Mercury Reader is a free extension that helps simplify a web page. It'll strip out the advertisements and make it cleaner and easier to read. This can help a lot with reading comprehension. Here's a list of some of my favorite Google Chrome extensions. The first one here is Auto Highlight. Auto Highlight's a great tool for students who need support in reading. When you activate it, the extension searches through the text and highlights one or two important sentences. The student can then add an additional couple of sentences to the web page, but it'll only add one or two at a time. This limitation teaches the student how to use the highlighting judiciously so that they don't just end up highlighting the entire website. Voice-in-voice texting is another extension to help you dictate material. The students will place the cursor wherever they need to dictate. This can be any field. And then they can speak and it will put their text into the field. They can edit it later or they can add the punctuation as they're speaking. Noisely is another free Google Chrome extension. Many students like to listen to music when they're studying but find that it can be a distraction. Noisely lets them listen to ambient noise or instrumental music while they're studying. Alpha Text is another free Google Chrome extension. It allows students to customize their browser or customize the font on a web page. What's really cool about it is you can take an article or a web page and increase the spacing. So students might find that it's easier to comprehend if they increase the spacing to 1.5 or even double spaced. It can make an article easier to read. There are a lot of ways to make your computer type what you say. One of the easiest ways is the website speechtexter.com. You can see here in the middle, a big button that says Start Dictating. So I'm going to hit this button. Now you are presented with what looks like a Word document. This is not a Word document. This is just a repository to hold your words. So to begin recording, you hit the Start button, and then you're going to start talking, and when you're done, you're going to hit Stop. You do need to speak the punctuation if you want it to be typed. So I'm going to give you a sample. Mrs. Smith, comma, I'd like to talk about my test question from the exam on Friday, period. I only got half credit for the extra credit question at the end, and I felt that my answer deserved full credit, period. Can we talk about it after class? Question mark. Now you can see that it pasted the things that I said into this box. The speed of how quickly that happens is going to depend on your internet connection. This gives me a chance now to read it and fix any errors. The only error that I see is it needs to capitalize the beginning of Mrs. Smith. Now, as I said before, this is not actually saving it. So you do need to copy this information and paste it into your email or paste it into your Word document, wherever you need it to go. When you're done and you're ready to dictate more, you can just hit clear. Seeing AI is an app that can help you take a picture of a physical book or a worksheet and it will read it out loud to you. If you use the document scan and take a picture, as it reads it out loud to you, it will highlight each word so that you can follow along. So this can be great for reading comprehension or somebody with a reading disability. You also can do the short scan and just snap a quick picture of the page and it will read the entire page out loud, but it won't show the words on the screen. Seeing AI is free for Apple iOS users, but Envision AI, which is the Android equivalent, still has a monthly subscription and isn't free. There are lots of tools to help students with math. Khan Academy is one of the best websites where you can watch teachers give step-by-step instructions as they go through different math lessons. Right now I'm going to cover Photomath. Photomath is a free app for either Android or Apple where you can take a picture of the math problem and it'll show you step-by-step how to do it. The first thing you're going to do with Photomath is take the camera and snap a picture of the problem. It will read your handwritten problems if your handwriting is neat enough, but you can also snap a picture of the textbook itself or even point your camera at the computer screen and take a picture on the computer. First thing you need to do is check that it interpreted the problem correctly. You can then edit it, so if it read a 3 that should have been an 8, you can fix it before seeing the answers. What's great about Photomath is as it works the problem, not only will it show you how to work the problem, but it will give you the English explanation of what was happening at each row.
Cash Out is a web-based game that teaches you how to make change in the real world. You will have 3 minutes to complete as many sales as possible by giving the correct change back to customers. The Budget Game is a web-based game that teaches you about budgeting. You will have to survive for 3 months. You select activities your character is going to do, such as eating out or going to work, and then have to budget appropriately. The Payoff is a choose-your-own-adventure story game. You will play an aspiring YouTuber and have to overcome challenges such as getting hacked or having your car stolen. Jumpstart is not a game, but this website gives you an estimate of how much money you'll need to make to support the lifestyle you want. Some examples include living with your parents versus living on your own, and having a used car versus a new car.
These are just a few of the assistive technology tools that are out there to help you. My name's Shandra. Thanks for watching.